to talk about cause and effect and root problems, Alice, as it pertains to Super Bowls, NFL football, the playoffs, and the Buffalo Bills, and the restaurants and industries that have to deal with who this atmosphere feeds their patrons. So let's talk about the Buffalo Bills last night. The Bills got robbed. They got a couple bad calls. They gave them a pass interference call. It was totally horse bleep. They actually, guy came down with it. It was a Bills player. The play-by-play guys were talking about how, well, they're letting them play. Then suddenly it wasn't letting them play anymore. And it was BS. And so the Buffalo Bills get beat again. It's a bull crap call in a Bush League league, and it's punitively punishing a fan base that freaking doesn't deserve it. The Bills fan base, the Bills Mafia, the Bills, tried and true Bills fans, they're awesome. They're fantastic. It's hard not to love these guys. They're crazy. They're fanatics. It's great. They've got a great team. And this getting screwed, and I understand the Patriots with the Tuck rule and this. Now, the Patriots 20 years ago, they benefited from bad calls. Everybody gets a bad call, and it benefits. But the Buffalo Bills, they've been building something for quite a long time, and there's a real thing. Like them getting close but not getting into the playoffs, or at least getting far into the playoffs, it's not just like disappointing for the fans, but it's bad for the local economy. It's bad for everything. And when it happens in a way that's inorganic, when they get robbed, it's absolutely terrible. Like, there should be people out right now, like, all over the bars in Buffalo. People should be watching the games. People should be, like, that area around where the stadium is should be hallowed ground 24/7. If they had a championship Super Bowl ring recently, then it would be. And like, there's what it does to morale, and this team has spent the money. So maybe this is it. Like, they might just not begin a decline. That decline could last for 20, 30 years. And it is what it can do to a community to be dispirited like this because stupid-ass football calls. That's terrible. It's a bad thing, and it hurts real people. And I think it sucks. Buffalo's great, and those fans are great. And to have this happen, to Foxborough, Massachusetts was not a thing before the Pats started winning Super Bowls. It was a bunch of parking lots in a crappy stadium. And then the Pats started winning, and now Foxborough is something. Not as if Foxborough is like the last anything special, but it's certainly specialer than it was. And that also resonates to all the places around Foxborough because nobody wants to drive in there. So there's all the restaurants around Foxborough and the whole thing, and it shines a light onto Boston and the retail people where you couldn't get rid of Patriots shirts 30 years ago. Now are like, that's the thing. Having a city being a city of champions brings a lot of luster to a city. It brings pride. It brings loyalty. It brings tourism from other places. We went to my cousin's wedding like 5 years ago in
Greensboro, North Carolina.
Right, and there was a Patriots bar. Of course, we went in there. Like, I guarantee you there was no Patriots bar there 30 years ago. There's no Patriots bar in Massachusetts 30 years ago. But now there was. And I just think that arbitrary, bad human decisions like that hurt. And I don't like it. I don't like it on any scale at all. So I am with my friends from Buffalo. I think it sucks. And that quarterback is just heartbroken. And he should be. And he got absolutely screwed. And there's no good side to it. Sometimes there's an upside. Sometimes there's just no upside. And it sucks. Like when the Red Sox lost in 2003 in the ALCS with a home run in Game 7, Aaron Boone, that was heartbreaking and terrible. And, nobody had seen a championship for 70 years, whatever, 80 years. That said, Boston's been a sports town and had a concentration of sports and some pretty good distribution of championships, whether or not basketball and a couple of Bruins things in the early 70s and then later on. But Buffalo needs this. So I hate this. I think that this fan base is kick ass, and for this to happen to them, I think is just piss poor. And it's people making decisions. And it's the same thing when we look at Jacob Frey. This piece of shit, this little pansy fruitcake, dancing around, making decisions, making horribly bad decisions, but using all the right words so that the contemporary and cosmopolitan media won't hold his feet to the fire. He's destroying that city. Tim Walz is destroying that state. And it's not surprising because they're also been ripping off the state, and it's all going to come down. And today what I saw in the media was the worst thing I've ever seen. The worst thing that there could be in any media, any time, was today watching Jake Tapper interview Jacob Frey. Jacob Frey should be an easy interview because he's a fruitcake. In other words, he's a vacuous ninny. He's out there. It doesn't. And he's weak-minded, and he's got doublespeak, and he's easily a hypocrite, and he's got no ideology that isn't feels. And he talks about that. It's about love. We're back to loving her. You should have been, if Jake Tapper interviewed him today, he should have torn into this guy and said, "You weird little cucked freak. You let your city burn before. You wailed in front of George Floyd's freaking golden chariot," as if that wasn't something we could all take a step back from and say, hello? You've been doing this weird getting cucked thing from the Somalians and learning to dance and eat their gach and sing in front of them. And it's rife with corruption. Your city blows. And now you are telling your people to attack federal law enforcement in your city. There should be enough for Jake Tapper to go on right there to say, you know what, I'm going to just get a couple layups here just in case somebody audits me and says, are you really a journalist? He did none of it. Jake Tapper and Jonathan Karl today gave the biggest, most impressive and thorough double blowjob I have ever seen anybody in the American media ever give. And it was freaking obscene. Like, say a thing, Jake. Say one thing to take this guy down or not. You could destroy him if you wanted to, but he's not doing. They accept everything. Oh, okay. And Jacob Frey is saying, you know, people in our district still like take their little sleds down and they sled down the ice to work and they're This guy is calling on people. This guy got a woman killed. He's gonna get more women killed, more people killed, and they don't hold his feet to the fire whatsoever. It's the most disgusting thing. And what makes Jake Tapper the worst is that he says and believes that he is a journalist. Mm-hmm. Well, you know what? We missed that one on Biden. Did you really miss that one on Biden? He missed every opportunity he had to say anything to Jacob Frey, who is, as the mayor goes, a cancer. Just because he bops around in his like gay shorts and like dances and things and panders to people doesn't mean he's not malevolent. He's malevolent. This is what malevolence looks like. I can't understand how people don't understand this. Like, they don't see it. It's right in front of them. So here's a bit of Jake Tapper with Jacob Frey today. And I have a food subject too.
So the position of the administration, first of all, a week ago, as you know, ICE released a list of 19 undocumented immigrants that they said they picked up in Minnesota. They've been convicted of crimes ranging from sexual assault and child abuse to murder. The White House border czar, Tom Homan, said they need to pick up those dangerous individuals. And he said specifically that you can fix this issue today. Take a listen to what Tom Homan had to say.
We're arresting illegal aliens when we're out there looking for criminals. You want less collateral arrest? Then let us in the damn jail. Frey and Walz could fix this today. Let us into jail so you can arrest a public safety threat and the safety and security of a jail rather than forcing us into the street to find these bad guys.
What's your response to that, sir?
I'm going to take the most easy position I think I've ever taken. Hey, in Minneapolis, we're anti-murder. Second most easy position, we're anti-rape. Third most easy position, we're anti-crime.
Is there a journalist in the room?
Yeah. So what's your position on letting him go to letting ICE go into jails and honoring ICE detainers so that you can get those criminals out?
Well, right. And where's Jake Tapper at all mentioning any of this stuff? He's letting this guy prance around and like make a fool of him.
He's kind of asking the right initial question, but then Jacob Frey just refuses to answer. And he does this a couple times during the interview where Jacob Frey then just doesn't address the question at all in any way, and Jake Tapper doesn't do anything about it.
But you can... What would happen to me if I was interviewing him is that after he did his prancy prance after question one, and I'm not a tough guy, but I get personally angry, as if the same way with the dog eats my chicken finger, that I'm like, you mother... It's personal. This guy is condescending and patronizing him. He's bettering him. He's dancing around him, one side to another, and Jake's just letting it happen. With his wishy-washy, like magical talk, conceptual talk of how Minnesotans feel and the love that we...
You can't do those things in Minneapolis, and if you do, we investigate them. We prosecute, you charge, you arrest, and you put the people in jail. And by the way, we have partnered extensively with the federal government to get the perpetrators...
Hello, Jake? Hello? Anything, Jake? Anything?
...of violent crime off our streets, and we've seen great success in doing that. In fact, on the north side, one example, we worked with the ATF and the FBI and the DEA and a number of different entities to successfully drive down shootings to record lows. So do we partner to get the bad guys? Of course we do. Here's what we don't partner on. We don't partner to just yank random people off the street because they happen to look Latino or they happen to look Somali.
Hello, Jake. Hello, Jake.
We don't partner
Jake?
to do like, you know, constant checks of passports requiring people to bring their passport or all this identification around with them all the time. I mean, that's not a...
Can we do a wellness check? Can somebody check on Jake, please? Is there a reporter anywhere in the fucking building? This is amazing.
America. Not to mention, I want our police officers not hunting down a father who has done nothing wrong. I want our police officers working to stop violent crime and prevent carjackings and do all this, the basic stuff that you need to do in a city.
Not a damn thing. Nothing.
Right. And meanwhile, I mean, the scenes in Minneapolis are incredibly out of control. This is escalated from... And, you know, Jake Tapper asked him about this, too. This is, he says, like, where's your line for you between, like, where it's freedom of speech and where they're actually impeding law enforcement investigations? And he doesn't answer that either. He's like, we have a free speech in America, and, like, you're allowed to film. And that's fine. That's true. But that's literally not what's happening. You now have organized gangs of ICE Watch individuals that, you know, these organizations have been endorsed by Democrat politicians, including Jacob Frey and Tim Walz. They're being encouraged to do this stuff, and they're accosting random individuals that they think look ICE-ish.
Well, right, yeah. Right now they're shaking anybody down who has an SUV, and they're demanding, you know, and if
you look like too fit a white guy or something,
or if you have a USA jacket, they want you to take the jacket. This is happening in the streets.
Do you
Jake
have the
just
one
sits
with the...
there. Hold on, I'm going to go through these. I'm not sure what I have. We'll just play them all. Jake just sits there. Okay. By the way, Jacob Frey has used all of these bromides on countless number of podcasts and interviews already. He's used all this stuff. I want our cops going after criminals. Okay, Jake, be ready for that. And Jake's like, oh, you know what? He wants them going after criminals. Well, Mayor Frey said he wants them going after criminals. Will you look into it?
And so, no, I don't think Holman understands the basic dynamic as to how stuff works in Minnesota here. But the bottom line is...
that's telling. So right there is another thing, egg to crack right there, saying, well, what do you mean? What's the basic dynamic? Because he's law enforcement who's got a charter by Congress who writes the laws who are being executed right now, and they're trying to do that in your state. Are you saying that doesn't apply to your state? Because that's not how things get done in Minnesota.
Yeah, are you saying that you guys, because this is what the left, I think, thinks at this point, you guys are exempt from federal immigration law?
Yeah, that's not how things work in our state. I want to go back to that a little bit. It's just unbelievable. I'll flag it for you, Jake. Fuck.
But the bottom line is, as we know, this is not about safety. It's not about crime. This is about intimidation. And in Minneapolis, we're not going to be intimidated. Minnesota here,
Hold on.
Holman understands the basic dynamic as to how stuff works in Minnesota here.
How stuff works.
But the bottom line is, as we know, this is not about safety. It's not about crime. This is about intimidation. And in Minneapolis, we're not going to be intimidated.
Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
And that's it. That's it. There's his 7 minutes. Go ahead. And we're not going to be intimidated. You got the world's biggest fairy pussy in front of you, and you can't stop him when he says he's not going to be intimidated. He's absolutely intimidated. If you're not intimidated, then why did you let the fucking Black Lives Matter people bring you to your knees as you groveled in front of... Look out, man. The worst, most poisonous journalist in the world is the journalist in name only, who protects the institution, who does none of the work to make it vital. That guy is trash. He is trash.
So the position of the administration, first of all, a week ago, as you know, ICE released a list of 19 undocumented immigrants that they said they picked up.
Yes, this is the one you played.
Okay. You got a few of them that are exactly the same. So.
Earlier this week, the Minneapolis Star-Tribune editorial board wrote that your state is, quote, under siege, and compared the situation in Minneapolis to a, quote, military occupation. Is that how you see it? Is Minneapolis being occupied by the federal government?
Invaded, under siege, occupied, use whatever word or superlative that you want to attach, but the bottom line is what is taking place is designed to intimidate. It is not fair.
He's using all words to tell people to arm themselves and resist.
Right. And so now you have a bunch of citizen vigilantes who are out here on the streets, like mobbing random people and demanding to know how they feel about ICE. This is not a sustainable situation, what's happening in Minneapolis right now.
No, which is why I believe that you need to have the right get in there. The Proud Boys, kind of people, whoever there are, and match their tactics.
People on the right have stuff to do. I don't have time to go stand in the streets in Boston and attack people.
And I was talking to T. Robinson about this earlier today. But there's got to be some. There's got to be some. Find the Turning Point college crowd who's willing to blow off a couple classes. Find the Groypers. I don't care who you find. Find somebody who is willing to intimidate the coy lesbian groups and the boomers right out of the situation. And if what's left is the Antifa thugs to go head to head with the Proud Boy thugs, let it happen, baby. Because they have sanctioned. No, because Jacob Frey has sanctioned protest. And protest means you can do whatever you want in the streets there. So do it. Do it. That's the only way. Because ICE can't beat the crap out of all these people because people are seeing the video and saying, oh my God, it's third world tactics. They're hitting a mother who has autism. Oh, somebody else asked that too. Jonathan Carl when had somebody on and said, we see the ICE, look how they're treating this woman. We find out later that she told us she has autism in a child. She told us that really? That's it, Jonathan? That's it?
Right.
Oh, God.
And it's completely unconstitutional. But one of the beautiful things that's taking place is that the people here in Minneapolis are not just resisting. They're standing up. They're standing up for their neighbors. They're loving people. They're making sure that they got a ride to the grocery store, a safe walk to their car.
ICE.
They're making sure that they have those basic necessities that they need.
Jake, anything, Jake, anything. They're standing up for their neighbors. Well, it's okay. That's fine. Jeffrey Dahmer had a neighbor, too. Was his neighbor standing up for his neighbor when he impeded the police? They're standing up for them, making sure they have right. Why are you letting this happen on your watch, dude? You fucking pussy. God.
Because we got a whole lot of people that are afraid to go outside at the risk of getting torn apart from their own families. And so in the face of a whole lot of adversity, I'm so proud to be from Minneapolis. I'm so proud.
Jake, say things. Why is this guy on the 5th addendum to his suck your own bleep part of his speech here? He's having to now ad-lib more stuff because Jake's not stopping him. He thought he would have been stopped.
Proud to be the mayor of this awesome city with these extraordinary people.
It's an awesome city, and our neighbors and the love we're leading with love and the neighbors and the awesome.
That's all fine, but you also don't, because you're all awesome and love your neighbors, don't get to have your own immigration policy.
All right, Allison, if CNN hires you, somebody will say that.
But it's just like incredible that, and I think liberals think this. They really think that they have the right to dictate what the federal immigration policy is because of how they feel about things.
They do. They totally feel entitled. Totally. And it's like, no, they're our neighbors, guys, our neighbors. Which is why they've got this app now where they're like saying, ICE is over here, guys. Let's help our neighbors.
Find the one with the tech bros in it that I had sent us, where they're trying. It's these guys that have like an app development company, and they're trying to eat lunch in a restaurant. And actually, one of them is so anti-ICE that he has the anti-ICE app. So he saw the alert of on the ICE Watch app. Apparently one of the staff in the restaurant reported them as looking potentially like ICE.
Right. Jesus.
This is so cool. I mean, this is...
And the crowd starts to gather outside this restaurant while they're trying to eat in there.
This has got to be the funniest thing I've ever seen.
I know, it's like, you feel like a zoo animal.
I've never...
So what it was is these dudes in the restaurant looking at the people outside, looking at them, because the angry
there's
mob.
a crowd starting to gather around the restaurant where they're eating lunch because they've been warned on the anti-ICE app that there's...
They look like bros.
Yeah. So they show up wherever they perceive ICE to be. They blow a bunch of whistles.
And then even make them do a struggle session.
Yeah, and like one of them is like, I agree with you. And they're like, if you're not with us, you're against it. So you either have to join the mob or the mob comes for you, is how this goes. There's another one where they attack somebody that they realize belatedly is part of the anti-ICE mob, too.
Yeah, let me go through this one a little bit more.
We do custom apps for a whole bunch of companies around Minnesota and the country.
Why are you
Because you're filming us. Here. You want to see Do I look like an ice agent?
Yeah, you look like a fucking ice agent.
Holy fucking Christ. This is what's wrong with this guy's talk.
No, it's not. No relationship with that. Wait, so do you support?
And how do you like this? Wait, do you support ICE? Okay, then what are you doing against ICE? Talk about Jacobins, a freaking mob of, at this point, college-educated white people saying, oh, well, show us then. Then burn that flag. Then go punch that guy. Then light that cop car on fire. You know what? It's not good enough. Off of his head.
Right, do I look like an ICE agent? Yeah, you do. What are you going to do to prove that you're not? Like, it's like they need to justify what they're doing so strongly because they know they're just like, because it would be too much for them to accept that they're just psychos who are randomly showing up at restaurants and harassing random people. That they couldn't acknowledge that reality. So they have to, after the fact, find a reason why to actually hate these guys, and it was deserved.
And you don't know, when there's such anger coming out at you and you're like having like a taco salad and you're not ready for it, it's a chilling thing. These are IT guys like going back to God knows like what they were talking about. I guarantee you it was pretty nerdy and not ICE stuff, whatever. And then suddenly people are like stating, well, do you? Well, what's going on? There was a time in 1997. Go ahead.
This is like when the mob tried to make that girl raise her fist during the Feast of St. George Floyd. And it's true. This does bear a resemblance to the George Floyd riot stuff. Mm-hmm. But the behavior is certainly escalated. It's happening with the endorsement of the elected officials. And, like, I mean, your city's not going to make it if you're allowing and encouraging this kind of behavior where you mob up on random people. I mean, somebody's acting like brown shirts here, and it's not ICE.
So I lived in this apartment in the 90s with my cousin, and my cousin was dating this girl in the north end of Boston, and she had a very jealous boyfriend, and the boyfriend was some psycho, and he was angry that she was dating my cousin in this building, in we lived in the same apartment complex. And anyway, the dude shows up at the house one day as I'm leaving and said, hey, are you this guy, my cousin? And I said, no. And he said, you sure? You sure, mother effer? And he's like, the guy's like obviously on something, whatever. And I'm like, yeah, I'm sure. And I'm like trying to get to work. I'm like, Jesus. And he said, let me see your license. Let me see your license. And I was like, oh, okay. And I showed him my license. Well, you know, I could have stood my ground. I didn't have any time. I didn't have the stand my ground mentality that I had worked on. I was just somebody going to work. And he said, where do you live? Where do you live? I said, I live up in 2B. And he said, okay, well, I'm going up there. And I said, okay, go up there. I eventually called my cousin. I said, by the way, if a psycho knocks on the door, I just see it. But it's like, when you see somebody like incensed in their eyes, you don't know unless you're up for it. Like, you don't know if you're eating conch salad in the restaurant when somebody suddenly is in your face and like their eyes show that these people mean it.
Yeah.
They mean it. And so in my story, by the way, the guy who the psycho, subsequently is now in jail for murder.
Good to know.
But anyway, like, these people are unhinged and nuts.
Support what? The way you guys are acting? Fuck no.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
The way you guys are, I don't support ICE either.
Then why do you care? Then you should.
I'm just trying to enjoy my lunch.
If you're not with us, then you're against us.
Get out of here!
You see the other guy yelling, get out of our effing city.
Yeah.
Okay. But they're not the psychos.
Right, no.
Jacob Frey is not the psycho. This
normal, totally reasonable
Twinkle Toes dancing and telling Jake Tapper how we're still loving in our city and we have different values. And he's not the psycho. Holy frig. Let me try some of this. I saw the Don Lemon thing, I think. Okay.
There's the one where they have the person on the ground, too, and then they realize it's one of their own anti-ICE people that they have knocked down on the ground. I think you should be able to see that video there, too. I mean, the whole thing is...
Oh, yeah, okay. Bunch of people chasing the dude.
Let him up! Let him up! Police! Let him up! Okay. Okay, get up! Let him go! Get your ass up! You good? You're not nasty?
And they're like, let him go. He's one of ours. Eventually, after they have this guy knocked down and they're like attacking him on the ground.
You all right, dude? You all right? He's one of us. How do we know? How we know?
He's one of us. You don't have to beat the crap out of him in the street or kill him. Right.
But, I mean, maybe this is like a warning sign about your movement if you're like randomly grabbing people and it turns out they're on your team. Like, I mean, I don't understand. And this is the type of thing that this video footage has been out here this weekend. This is the type of thing that Jake Tapper could have asked Jacob Frey about, obviously. He could have said, you know, like...
He could have rolled some of this footage.
Right. He could have said, look, of course there's such a thing as valid protest. Of course people are allowed to film ICE, but you're amping people up. And you now have vigilante mobs like showing up at restaurants and attacking random people who have nothing to do with ICE. Like, do you think you need to lower your rhetoric? But no, like, none of that happened. He doesn't get questioned on any of this.
Not right.
And I mean, like, they're encouraging the use of these apps.
He's been joking, like Jacob Frey's been saying, every place he goes, like, we've had 5 murders and like at least 2 are ICE. By the way, the number of murders keeps going up. Remember, it was 2 murders and half are ICE. Now the murder rate's going up.
Yeah. Yeah, because we were only like 2 weeks into the year.
Nobody counters him on any of the stuff. And at some point, Tapper should have said, okay, was Renee good? What she did, is that acceptable? Should people go that far?
It's a part of free speech.
Right. And to have him then say he could condemn her or try to escape, but hold him to it, then you make effing news and expose this piece of crap worm. Oh, what am I doing now?
I don't know what you're doing. But there are people who are trying to, do this even here. Like, I've seen people now on the Melrose group asking about, like, saying they saw ICE here or did this here. Like, a bunch of people are watching this stuff happen, like we are, but feel compelled to, like, go join the mob.
And it's interesting because they really think that they're the bad guy. Like, that these guys, do something... Oh, you see ICE? You see a law enforcement organization that's been around forever, just doing their thing around, and suddenly it's in you. It's imprinted on you that those are... God, I wonder how World War II happened. I wonder how this happened. It's amazing. Like, it's funny because the last time I remember any kind of mob mentality thing around here that was kind of like that was like if somebody was wearing a Yankees hat. If you were in your 20s and drunk would be considered a provocation. That was it.
Right. I just sent you another one that's a guy that had the misfortune to rent a car in, I think this is Minneapolis.
This is great.
And his car has Texas plates on it.
You
So
hear all
they've
the
got him
beeping?
surrounded.
It's for me. Why? This right here. Texas plates. When you're in Minnesota with Texas plates, everybody thinks you're ICE. I'm just trying to get some food. This is what I got to deal with.
Yeah, and Bill Malugin's reporting that that some of these hotels like aren't able to have guests anymore because they've been hosting ICE agents. So Bill Malugin tweeted out, I'm told multiple ICE agents with rooms booked at the St. Paul downtown DoubleTree by Hilton received this notice today. Their rooms are canceled. The hotel is closed temporarily due to heightened public safety concerns in St. Paul. I called the hotel and checked online. They are indeed not taking bookings right now. They referred me to other hotels. I'm told this happened today at the Intercontinental St. Paul with ICE agents booking there. We're notified the hotel will be temporarily closing due to the unrest in Minnesota. An agent who talked to the front desk manager said he was told it was done to protect staff because they've been getting threats by individuals for lodging DHS agents.
Right. And if this were 2 weeks ago, that would be the most insane thing. Now listen to this, Alice. This is freaking the most beautiful thing you will hear all day today. Don't look.
Okay.
And don't look at anything because the Patriots are playing. Don't give anything away.
I'm not.
And then I'm going to have my controversial thing to say about Cupcake May's wife. She said today it was very controversial. Okay. Liz Collin. I don't know who she works for Axios or Alpha News. Or Alpha News is like on the rise quickly.
Yeah.
She said, so let me get this straight. The feds are tracking people targeting them, so the anti-ICE agitators are upset. Yes, this is a real 911 call from Friday, and these are now the people in charge of the Minneapolis Police Department. Here's the Minneapolis Police. Caller is a civilian commissioner for police oversight in Minneapolis. Has been receiving info from several people who have been recording ICE agents that when they follow agents, the agents are leading the followers to their personal homes. CLR, whatever that is, believes federal agents are running plates to gather addresses and followers are concerned for their own well-being. They hopes that MPD could respond to the homes of the followers as a deterrent and to show support to the community members. So in other words, in what I call effing awesome, these guys are hounding ICE and following them. They're running their plates and then driving right to their houses.
Right.
And I say, bravo fucking oh. That is fantastic. And they're like, oh my God, how dare you invade our spaces?
Did you think it was going to be easy resisting the Nazis, you guys?
Holy frig. Holy frig. All right, should we do the chat?
Yeah, let's
There's
have
a
the
lot
chat
to get
chat.
to.
There is a lot to get to, and
Dickhead.
I really want to read you my Boston accent article too.
Ooh. And I have something else too. And yeah. Oh,
Okay.
and what you're thrilled about is the new Star Trek seems awesome.
I've seen clips. It's so.
It really seems awesome.
They spent an insane amount of money making it too.
Oh.
It was really expensive to make.
All this money, and
Nobody's paying Tom Shattuck.
yeah, and you and I have a furnace that's either on high or off. It's our life.
Tom, I love you
Thank
in
you.
an overtly sexual way.
Bill from Braintree, thank you for calling and welcome.
Tom,
Yes.
who do you think got on the phone with Tampon Tim and Mayor Frey? Because they both capitulated just a day after saying they would put up the fiercest resistance ever. Do you think Trump called them directly and said, listen, I will lay waste to everything you people have done, and I will pull every penny of federal money from your crappy state. I mean, that's the best position to be in. I hope he did that.
Well, yeah, I don't think so, Doctor. I don't think so. But what I think is this, though: if that happened and they were scared a little bit, somebody's gotten to them. Jacob Frey now has become a. This is like one of the first names of any interview, any episode we had. Green Room. It's about Fauci. Green Room. Groupie. Green Room addict. Green Room.
I do remember that, but I don't remember what
Frey is addicted to the green room, to everything in the green room now. And so he is everywhere. Nobody challenges him. All these dandies don't challenge him. And so he's believing his own BS now. And he's been talking. He goes on every interview and
I
says,
wouldn't be surprised if he thinks he's running for president.
why wouldn't you? Of course you should. Of course. No, absolutely.
Hi, Steve from Merrimack.
Hey, Steve.
9 minutes, Tom.
What?
9 minutes.
What happened?
Listening to the show for January 15th. 9 minutes at the beginning of the show is you. It started with somehow you're in arrears on a credit card and you're in friggin' debtor's court. And then we keep going along with some sort of botched drug buy. And then all of a sudden...
I did think it was funny that day that knowing that I had to leave, you spent the whole 10 minutes
true?
that I was there and available to be on the show talking about yourself.
That botched drug buy where I got mugged by the guy, by the way, was next to it was at the transportation building in Boston, where I also saw the most beautiful woman I've ever seen in my life. And I thought, well, she was using the ATM. I said, you know what, Tom, you're going to step up and say, you're the most beautiful woman I've ever seen in my life. What did I say to her else?
Nothing.
Correct. They also had a Fuddruckers there. And why do we love Fuddruckers?
Unlimited cheese sauce.
Correct. It's gone now.
It's you're cheating with another chick, so the chick who's cheating will come back to you, and it's just...
hold on, Steve. That's you could learn from this because it worked. I made up. I constructed another chick. She didn't exist. It was this chick who had private pictures. She lived in South Africa or something. It didn't matter. I found all. It was a great campaign. I would suggest people look into it. If you want to manipulate your girl to like you more, construct a girl out there with slightly better everything that she has, and subtly let your girl know that that's happening. Absolutely do that. I've not done that with Els, because nobody has anything better than you have, Els.
And mostly I don't care if you are doing something.
Okay. Hear that, ladies?
I wanted to Van Gogh myself, only both ears. Okay? And then you finish this 9-minute horror, and Alice says, okay, I gotta go. What a fucking... Oh, my God. The horror. The horror.
Yeah, that is bad. So let me tell you that there's a parallel to that, and what happened tonight. So today we were at a bar in Georgetown called...
You were at a bar in Georgetown today?
Yeah, I met my friend Dan for a beer. I literally had 2 beers.
Oh, I didn't even know you were at a bar today.
No, I had to get away and clear my head because of stuff. And then I wanted to, while I was there, I figured to order some stuff to bring home for the kids. And I ordered, to bring home, I ordered buffalo wings. Mm-hmm. And they didn't have them. And so I got buffalo fingers and some other stuff. It's fine. But can you imagine, like, what else is happening in your bar and grill that on Patriots playoff day, in a big football Sunday, regardless of who you like, you're out of freaking chicken wings?
Maybe because people have been eating them?
Oh, you think that's why, Alice? You don't think that it was a heist? I assume people have been eating them, Alice. But I assume a restaurateur will think that, you know what, people are going to keep eating them, especially as the Patriots are playing, as the drinking will increase.
Maybe they underestimated demand.
That's kind of the point. The point is, if you're in the bar and grill business in New England, I would suggest overorder for this weekend. Maybe somebody was eating them. Jesus.
Hi, Steve from Merrimack.
Hey, Steve.
Julie and Phil, I would advise you to start listening to the Howie Carr Show on Apple Podcasts. like the first hour of his show goes up an hour and a half or so after he's finished with it. That's the way I've been listening for the past 4 years.
Same.
Because I couldn't take all the commercial breaks and the plugs and everything either. The only disappointment is I was a regular caller to Howie for a really, really long time. So I don't do that anymore, but I still love the show, and that's a great way to listen to it. Thank you.
Steve, I wish I'd heard you or knew to listen for you then. You would have been great to hear. Because a lot of Howie's, all the callers are great. Okay, here we go.
Hey, Billy from Manchester.
Hey, Billy.
You know, you can make fun of Cooner all you want, but at least he shows up 5 days a week and does, a good 15 hours in that week. 34 minutes the other day.
We ran out of time, Billy. And first of all, I wish he wouldn't show up that often. And second
He
of all,
also doesn't have a different 40-hour-a-week job other than being on the radio.
Well, right. And then also, when I was in Connecticut, I was doing it. Remember, the first 2 years I had 4 hours a day. So I think I show up.
Alice leaving on Thursday's podcast after 4 minutes. I mean, we're all of a sudden, now he gets this new big gig. He's the editor-in-chief of the Maine Wire. And all of a sudden, this takes it's not the burn barrel, it's the back barrel now. The back barrel podcast.
Not bad.
We're just a bunch of pawns in this scheme here. Unreal. 32 seconds. Very disappointed. 34 seconds. 35.
By the way, Bill, your friend Stephen Gloucester just told me about a great place in Gloucester to get tripe, and I miss tripe and I want tripe. And I'm going to have it, lady, okay?
Okay.
So that moron who works for Mamdani and is trying to recreate government housing in New York City.
Yeah. It's like Fliv's Weaver or something, right?
C.O. Weaver.
Yeah.
Obviously not alive when the South Bronx was completely dotted with empty projects because the city just couldn't afford to take care of them. Guess where they wound up? They tore them down. Anyway, she should look up the Pruitt-Igoe project in St. Louis, which was another state/federal housing project that they tried to put up, and they did. And within a few years, it was crime-ridden, run down, just because they kept spending less and less on it. When you don't learn history, you are doomed to repeat it.
Yeah, there's a housing projects out of the 40s, and then later on with some of the urban renewal stuff, which are just formulated to fail.
Yeah, I did read an article recently that was interesting that was talking about how one of the biggest problems in the housing market has been the getting rid of these like super cheap rooming houses where like one man can rent a room and just work a job and come to the room, and that like going away has made it, or especially tenant law making it very difficult to evict people has made it impossible to like run places like that and have it be cost effective, because if you get one like insane junkie in there, then like it ruins it for everybody. And that you need more like super cheap housing options for people at the very bottom rung of the housing market that can't be totally destroyed by the other people who are at the very bottom of the housing market, many of whom need to be institutionalized.
Oh, totally great. And then a lot of these units can't be fixed or rehabbed, and they just don't have the money to do it. You got to jack up everybody else's rent to pay for. I'm talking about like rent controlled stuff, which is poisoned.
Hi, Steve from Merrimack.
Hey, Steve.
Tom, Walter Kern is a novelist. He wrote the novel Up in the Air, which was made into a movie with George Clooney. That was actually a really good movie.
Oh, the one where they fire people.
He's a conservative. He's a literary critic and an essayist, and he's really good. You should check him out if you don't know him. I think he's like a frequent guest on Megyn Kelly's show. At least that's where I've seen him.
Wow.
But thank you.
I'll check it out, Steve. Walter Kern. He looks like an interesting guy. It's funny, the Megyn Kelly thing. It's like a lot of people don't go in there anymore. I thought the fifth column people like did this thing. We're not going on Megyn Kelly anymore. That was so bitchy of them. It's like, don't try to be the hard asses when.
I do want to talk about that little get together in Miami too in the Patreon show.
My guy Nick Fuentes.
Nick Fuentes, Myron Gaines, the Tate brothers, Clavicular. They're all there hanging out together. Yeah, so let's head to the Patreon show. We'll quickly do a Patreon show before we go watch the Patriots. We'll be behind, I guess, but I do want to get to that. And like I said, I have an article about Boston accents that I want to read to you. The way you join the Patreon, if you want to do that, is patreon.com/burnbarrel. Of course, if you just like listening to the show for free, you can do that at burnbarrelpodcast.com.
Huge Steve Robinson news coming up too.